What is happening, YouTube? Cowboy here, and today I'm bringing you a hero that I have been hyped for since the release of Heroes of the Storm, and that is the Orcish Warlock, Gul'dan. So for those that don't know, Gul'dan started as a shaman, betrayed his shaman ways, and became the first Orcish Warlock, a total badass in the lore and mythos of World of Warcraft. He was instrumental in the opening of the Dark Portal, basically the main orchestrator behind it, and he has transitioned in the best possible way a Warlock could be brought into Heroes of the Storm. So, to get things started, we're going to go through the talent build, we're going to show you his abilities in action, go over each of the abilities, and then we'll show you guys a match with him. So, for the Gul'dan build, we are going to be going with Echoed Corruption, Improved Life Tap, Bound by Shadow, Horrify, Harvest Life, Ruinous Affliction, and then lastly, Demonic Circle. Now, to go into each of the abilities and what they can do, first up we got Fell Flame, your basic Destro Lock ability. Going to toss out a wave on a 1.5 second cooldown, does decent damage. At level 20 you can see we're hitting for 436 damage, and with the low cooldown we have, we can spam this out quite a bit. Moving on from there, we have Drain Life, basically draining the enemy's health away to heal ourselves, which means that we can keep ourselves sustained indefinitely out in the lane, basically never having to go back to the fountain or to the base as long as we're playing smart. Moving on from there, we have the standard Warlock damage over time ability, and that is Corruption. Now, I really like the way they brought this in to Heroes of the Storm. Instead of making it like a single target cast, how it is back in WoW, we actually get 3 circles that we can do. They're very glad they're locked in sequence, but they're similar to Gall's Shadow Orbs. And as you can see, 3 runic circles will appear on the ground, and any hero who is caught by those circles will end up having a stack of Corruption applied to him, which will deal 491 damage over 6 seconds. So if someone's retreating and you manage to drop that out and hit them with all 3 circles, that's almost 1,500 damage over time they are taking. As for heroics, we have 2 abilities, the first being Horrify, which is going to drop out a giant, basically fear bomb, sending enemies scattering in every direction, allowing you to pick them off. The alternate choice you have is going to be Rain of Destruction, which I personally wouldn't recommend simply because you are stuck in position while using it, and on top of that, the meteors are rather chaotic. It's not just a giant AoE that's going to hit everything. It's directly on the impact spot, and I feel like it's too chaotic to really count on in securing kills, and therefore functions more of a zone control, in which case Horrify is the better option. For our trait, we have Life Tap, allowing us to take away health to directly restore mana. Of course, having this talented, we get back 35% of our mana every time we Life Tap. So now that we've gone into the abilities, let's do an in-depth analysis of the talent tree, show you what we picked and why. So in the first tier, we have Pursuit of Flame, Glyph of Life Drain, Chaotic Energy, and Echo Corruption. Now, Pursuit of Flame is going to increase the radius on our Fell Flame, so 10% larger on this. And to be completely honest, 10% larger radius isn't really going to be a game changer. You know, it more than likely isn't going to increase our damage. We might catch the occasional hero hit, but we still already have a very wide cone on this, therefore making it negligible in my opinion. Glyph of Drain Life, 25% range can help if you're having trouble and you don't want to go in on your enemies, but once again, I feel it's one of those things that just isn't really necessary. As long as you're playing smart, you can see we're at 50% here, we can still get off Drain Life very easily, especially when we do it in a combo like that, dropping the Corruption and then casting that Drain Life. You'll see just how much damage we did there, easily topping ourselves off. So really it comes down to positioning, you're just not going to need it. Now, Echo Corruption is what's going to allow our corruption to go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, just like this. And what's great about that is that effectively doubles your damage output with that ability. Now, given you're very, very rarely going to hit one hero all 6 times, fact of the matter is, in a team fight when everyone's grouping up, you can drop that out and very easily get heroes that are grouped up multiple times, clearing entire teams. Just those 3 Corruption Orbs going out twice each has almost 3,000 damage potential in damage over time. Right now at level 21, it's actually over 3,000 damage over time potential. Chaotic Energy, you know, basically refunding some mana costs for us. Honestly, you have Life Tap. Why the hell would you ever need that? Fact is, you don't. Moving on to our second tier, Improved Life Tap, Health Funnel, and Consume Soul. Consume Soul, instantly kill an enemy minion for 832 health. Why? I could do this and gain 392 health per second on a 10-second cooldown. So that's stupid. Pass over that completely. Health Funnel. If an enemy dies while under the effect of Drain Life, the cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Or, excuse me, 6 seconds. You know, that's nice and all, but fact of the matter is, that's not going to be my kill secure. My kill secure is going to be my Corruption. Drain Life is there to just sustain me. See, now he's going to die. but it wasn't the drain life. So fact is, go improve life tap. Getting back more mana is going to be huge, and it's really going to make things a lot easier, on top of making it easier to get in and drain life when you need to versus all the time. Going into the third tier, couple hard choices here. We have Bound by Flame, which is going to reduce the cooldown on corruption by 1 second for every hero hit. Devour the Frail, 50% more damage to enemies below 50% health. Curse of Exhaustion, applying a 50% slow after the 6 seconds corruption is worn off. And then Hunger for Power, where we get 25% less healing, but 15% more ability power. Now, honestly, while we can sustain ourselves fairly well and never do need a healer, especially if you're playing hyper-aggressive with Gul'dan and tossing out spells left and right and mana tapping, having that healing potential is going to be useful. It's just the nature of the beast. You know, it's going to come in handy to be able to heal when you need to. So because of that, I don't really like Hunger for Power. I just feel that all in all, you know, it looks great on paper, but at the end of the day, it kind of is a trap. Curse of Exhaustion, while that's great, usually someone's going to be dead if you're using your corruption properly. So once again, one of those things that's just not going to really be needed for us. Devour the Frail. Once again, you know, I'm not really counting on Drain Life to be my killer. So unless like you're doing a completely focused Drain Life build, you don't really need that. Now, Corruption being our biggest damager because of Echoed Corruption, and on top of that, Ruinous Affliction, which we'll get to later, Bound by Shadow is going to ensure that we can cast that as much as possible in combat. And just to add a little bit more evidence onto it, I know this is you know, kind of faulty evidence, it's just my own personal evidence, but with this build so far, I have not lost in terms of topping damage in a game. Even if my team is to lose, I've topped damage in every game I have played with Gul'dan by about 5,000 to 10,000 damage because of just how much damage over time you're doing with Corruption. Very, very familiar of what Warlocks were capable of back in World of Warcraft Battlegrounds. So, Bound by Shadow, getting that cooldown up faster, and you got to remember, it's 1 second per hero hit. So, you know, we're looking at a 16-second cooldown. If we're in a team fight and we toss this out, hit a bunch of heroes, boom, 4 seconds off the cooldown. That's huge. As for heroics, as I mentioned, having Horrify is just going to allow us to set up very, very powerful combinations. Bombing enemy heroes out is absolutely devastating. You know, scatter them when they come in to try and drop big ultimates. There's all kinds of things you can do right there, making that a very, very powerful choice to choose. Into our next tier. Now, this one is more of a situational tier. Two things I would suggest not doing here are Dark Bargain, which is a huge trap. 15 seconds on your respawn timer. That's insane. 15 seconds is the difference between making it to a team fight and not making it to a team fight. So don't pick Dark Bargain. Hearthstone, it sounds nice, 30% of your maximum health, but honestly, it's not really needed as long as you have good usage with Drain Life. And Harvest Life on top of that, 50% more health when using with heroes. That's actually pretty insane, because that's going to allow us to go one-to-one with just about any hero in trade. And just to kind of better show what I'm talking about here, we'll get Arthas all pissed off here. We'll get super low, get him to kind of attack me, and then I'm going to pop out the Drain Life. Like, look how much healing we're getting right there. That's absurd. Watch this. Arthas thinks he's going to kill me. He has 2 archers. Look, we're just trying. I don't know why he's running away from me. Come on and fight. Come on. You have all these guys helping you. Just look at that. That's absurd. All these guys I'm taking right now, and I still have that much healing coming in. So basically, the fact of the matter is, Harvest Life is a ton of health, a ton of sustain potential that you're getting, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Look at this. I'm just topping myself off. Went from 25 up to 50%. Against mage-heavy comps, Fel Armor is a great choice. You know, especially as much as you're going to be tossing out your Fel Flame, that is a very viable option there. Personally, I prefer Harvest Life. So going into 16. Now, this is probably the tier I had the toughest decision between, and that was going for Ruinous Affliction or Darkness Within. Well, Ruinous Affliction, we get an additional 185 damage on impact. So not including the damage over time, just the impact is going to do 185 damage at level 22. So you can see we're at 185, 185. And then there's the damage over time proc. I really like Darkness Within, though. You know, 20% ability power. But at the end of the day, I looked at it like this. 20% ability power on 536 is going to be around a, what do we see? Let me try and do some math in my head. A little bit slow today. It would be like 108, right around there. 108. So an extra 108 damage. Ruinous Affliction, one hit is 185 damage. And if somehow someone gets hit by all three, that's 553 damage. So this is huge over Darkness Within, even though you can apply this ability power to any of your abilities. Rampant Hellfire, while that sounds great in concept, 30% damage is what we can get that stacked up to. And, you can get that off in fights. It can be very powerful. But, I mean, fact of the matter is, having that Ruinous Affliction, that's going to set up so many team kill potentials. It's going to let us just wipe teams completely out with our Corruption because we're getting damage over time. We're getting damage on the hit. If we hit somebody, that's a huge burst increase right there. Whereas 30% on Fell Flame, that's 476. So 470, we're getting, let me see. I know, I'm terrible with doing math off the top of my head. Whatever, you guys do it. Whatever 0.3 times 476 is, I'll tell you right now, it's barely going to be on par with the 185 we're getting from Ruinous Affliction, which is huge. As for our final ability at level 20, the main two choices I would suggest here are going to be Haunt or Demonic Circle. The fact is, Demonic Circle is a ridiculous amount of mobility, especially because it's on demand and you can escape at any time just by hitting this. You can see we're diving in deep, we're diving in super deep, we're diving in, oh, we're gone. All the way back here. Instant. 0 cast time. So basically every 60 seconds, this is a get the fuck out of town, get out of jail free card. That's super powerful. I really do like Haunt, increasing Horrify by 1 second and adding vulnerability to all enemies. But at the end of the day, man, having a completely free get out of jail every 60 seconds is huge. So either way, guys, that is the build for Gul'dan. Definitely going to be my new main. Absolutely love this hero. So excited that we finally have a Warlock in Heroes of the Storm, and I am having a complete blast with them. So either way, if all you guys wanted was the guide, thanks for checking it out. If you do want to see a match, make sure to stay tuned. And with that in mind, we'll catch you guys next time.